and for now, you got kids that are at the age that are making those decisions. How do you see, like, the future for them, and how are you envisioning approaching their college experience, right?
Well, I would say, I have two boys that are very active. My son, 20-year-old son, Noel, he's playing football. He's rehabbing. He tore his knee, shattered his knee pretty bad, but he's rehabbing. He's getting himself back into it. And with him, I want him to essentially do it as long as he has the fire to do it. Because with injuries and stuff and him being in junior college, that transition, he has some options. Some people are inquiring about him because he's very talented. But for me, with him, it's just health because, that next step, college, is a whole different world. And maximize your eligibility. It's very important to do that because when you look back, you don't want to have anything like I should have, I could have.
I wasted a year.
Maximize it, maximize it because, one thing that we can both agree and attest to is that our body's how we feel now as opposed to how we felt then. Father Time is undefeated, man.
Undefeated.
So you got to make sure you maximize every single opportunity.
Unless you're LeBron, and then you might
that's the anomaly, man. He's an anomaly. And every now and then I think about it, like, you still playing, bro. Like, that's crazy.
It's wild to think, like, you were
man.
Teammates with him, right, in Cleveland, and you shared a locker, and we talked about that story.
Yeah.
And you talked about the impact of how he treated you with who he was.
Yeah.
But and we can kind of pivot and stay on both of these stories here, but it is mind-blowing that he is still playing. And it's a personal, like, goal. Like, if I want to be dad's, like, my son's hero, I'm going to get him a chance to meet and get an autograph from LeBron and Luka, right? Like, that would make me the greatest father on the planet to my son. But to put context to that, Michael Jordan was my hero growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Like most of ours, right?
For sure.
He had his short window. To think that LeBron, who was coming into the league 20 plus years ago, is still my 10-year-old son's like favorite player. Is insanity when I think about longevity.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. And to echo that, like, when I was blessed to go to camp with the Cavaliers, we spent a lot of time together because we left the country, went to China and did all these things. And, I remember seeing his kid, babies and all that stuff. And now to break new mold of success, to play with your kid in a sport like Ken Griffey Jr. and his
Insane.
dad, like playing basketball, it's like when you're around long enough to see that and accomplish those kind of things, stuff that you wouldn't dream of, I think that's everybody will have their opinion on LeBron and his successes and also his shortcomings, right? But as a father, as a husband, at consistency, every single day bringing it, one of the things that I always take about what LeBron says is every day. He says every single day. He says it every single day. He does it every single day. And I always would brag on him to say he was always better than advertised. And when I was there, it was 2007. So championships wasn't hung up yet. But at the same time, his athleticism, his skill set, and what he was able to do. Talking about Coach Welsh, I remember picking his brain. What do you think about LeBron, man? He's like, man, some people didn't think he was his age. As good as he was, like, he had to be older. But he was really that young, really that talented, that kind of generational athlete and superstar. I leave it there. Everything else that happened, his opinion and the world we live in now with people sharing things and it can get plastered, I'll take all that with a grain of salt. Because, at the end of the day, we know you because you put that ball in the basket. And you do that at a high level. Not only do you do it at a high level, you're doing it to the level where every time you score is added to a record. You can't take that from him. And that's something I will always respect, 100%. So shout out to him for still playing, still breaking the mold. But at the end of the day, when he hang it up, we will never, ever, ever see that again. Just like with Kobe, as good as Kobe was, there's some things Kobe did, man, that we will never see again. Going back and watching Kobe close games out the way he did, closest thing to Michael Jordan, was incredible to me, man. And, like, to be a basketball fan and to look up to these guys that I got a chance to share the court with, it's priceless to see them do what they did when they did it. You know, like, Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time because what he did and the volume he did it was insane. You know, I think David Stern chose to market him as the player, and he knocked it out the park over and over and over with the Olympics, with a three-peat, and then another three-peat, and then molding his game to be so polished and be good at every position and make reads. Like, that stuff is special. So with LeBron, with LeBron and his son and playing with his kid, like, I look at that all the time like, wow. Especially having kids that play sports, it's like, I can't imagine what it'd be like sharing a locker room with my son. Right? To
be that good yourself, to be able to orchestrate that. And that's what again, people don't sometimes I don't think people that, you know, your average person talking about it acknowledges that business and life, you have power based on the ability of what you're able to deliver, right? And then when you lose the ability to deliver that, your power wanes.
Right.
And no matter how great you are, there is a massive list of Hall of Fame level athletes that did not have their relationships end well with the organizations they started with. Because in the end, as their powers waned, that relationship shifted and they ended up going elsewhere.